Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Zoe Ralston. I am the circulation librarian here at the Newcastle Public Library, and I'm here to talk about something that we often take for granted, but many in our community simply don't have access to, the internet and computers. Specifically, I'll be talking about how the Newcastle Public Library plays an important role in addressing the digital divide in our community by providing access to public computers for free to anyone who can make it to the physical library. I'll later talk about how we plan to extend our public computer access beyond just the physical facility as well. So, for a brief history, traditionally we all know libraries as places to borrow books, movies, or attend programs. However, over the last few decades, libraries have evolved into vital community hubs, providing access to resources that are not widely available, specifically the internet and computers. Libraries started offering access to public computers in the mid 1990s, and this is when the internet became more mainstream and libraries were just helping to bridge the growing divide. At first, just a few computers were available and mainly limited to professional use for research purposes only. But since then, the demand for public internet has only increased. In the early 2000s, almost every library had public computers available for patrons to use. So, why does this matter? Public libraries provide a wide range of resources for their communities. They are known as community hubs that meet the needs of their community. Libraries are constantly adapting to meet their patrons where they are at no extra cost to them. One of the largest issues in Lawrence County right now is access to reliable internet. There have been several surveys completed in the last few years that outline the pressing need for internet access in our community. And so we'll just start off with a couple of numbers. In Lawrence County, over 1,200 households do not have access to adequate internet. 20% of people will travel for Wi Fi access. 26% of residents do not have an internet subscription, and 32% of residents do not have a smartphone. There's some feedback from some of our community members stating we do not have much selection for internet services in my area. Since there aren't many options, there isn't any competition, so the prices are absolutely ridiculous. Another community member says, we have been paying over $100 for internet and it keeps going up each year, and we cannot use the internet in our house. One household cannot use more than one device at a time. And this person stating, we have trouble at times using more than one device. And there's another community member that has to pay for services that they don't even use just to access the internet. They state our internet is not only reliable and is very slow, especially when two devices are using the internet at one time. We often have connection issues with DSL. We also have to pay for a landline phone that we do not use just so we can have the slow DSL service. So these are all community members in Lawrence County that are having trouble paying for their internet, accessing internet, things of that nature. And these statistics and feedback paint a clear picture of digital exclusion, especially for low income, elderly, and rural residents of Lawrence County. So, why should our community members have to pay high prices for services that they don't need just to access unreliable Wi Fi? And this is why libraries are stepping in to help their communities. So, what are the public computers used for? If I had to guess, most of our public computers are used for printing purposes, as the library is one of the very limited places to get things printed in Newcastle. I've been told many times that our prices are much lower than those of another printing shop just down the road. Other uses of our public computers are for education, employment, and tax or business purposes. Another large portion of our computers is used for entertainment. This can mean people watch movies or TV shows or even play video games. Our most used software is Roblox. This is an online video game mainly used by kids that come in. So, knowing all of this, there are privacy risks to public computers, and I'll just go over how the Newcastle Public Library handles these risks on behalf of the patrons. If patrons are accessing personal information on the computers, there's always a concern of who can see that information and when they're done. The American Library Association calls for libraries to plan and execute privacy policies that protect their patrons. This is laid out in their privacy guidelines that they provide on their website. These guidelines outline that there is a free right to inquiry as assured by the First Amendment. This means that the ability to read and access information free from scrutiny by the government or other third parties. Librarians also have an ethical responsibility, as expressed in the ALA Code of Ethics, to preserve users' right to privacy. They also have a legal obligation to protect library users' personally identifiable information and data from unauthorized disclosure and use. Libraries should also have clear privacy policies when accessing a computer or public network within the library made available to patrons. This should be easily available and understandable to users. Users should know what information will be gathered about them, how long it's stored, who has access to that information, and under what circumstances that information will be used. A proactive process to inform users of any changes to the library's policies are the best course of action. So, knowing all of that, I'm very happy to say that the Newcastle Public Library has patron privacy at the very forefront of all of the planning that we do. We have a software called Deep Freeze that allows users to sign off of a computer, and then the computer is restarted, and all of the information stored on that computer is deleted permanently, reverting the computer back to its original state before the patron used it. So that means that no matter what you do or save or change on the computers, everything will automatically be deleted and reset for every patron that accesses the public computers in the library. So, what is the Newcastle Public Library's public computer impact and value? Annually, we have over 10,000 individual logins on our computers. Adults make up almost 2/3 of our computer usage, while children make up the last third. Over the last 30 days, 422 children have logged onto our computers and spent, on average, 2 hours per login. The total number of hours for children over the last 30 days is 891 hours of computer usage. In that same time period, we've had 780 adults log into our computers, spending approximately an hour and 15 minutes per login. The total number of hours adults have used our computers over the last 30 days is 973 hours. And I will say that Newcastle Public Library does not limit who can use our computers, and we also do not limit how long people can be on our computers. So that means that anybody can come in and use our computers regardless of if they have a library card or not, and they can stay for as long as they'd like to. So, what are the grant opportunities that are available to the Newcastle Public Library? And so I'd like to take this time to talk about some grants that we have been given in the past. In 2023, we were given the opportunity to participate in a government grant that allowed us to purchase hotspots and have them available for public use for about a year and a half at no additional cost to us or the patrons who use them. This was an amazing opportunity to spread internet connectivity to our patrons that may not have otherwise had access to this. This was a very popular program that impacted many people very positively. Unfortunately, this program ended last year, leaving some without reliable internet, and I'll talk shortly about how we plan to use these hotspots in the future. The Newcastle Public Library has also very recently received a grant from the state of Pennsylvania that gave us 200 laptops to use in order to address the digital literacy divide that plagues our county. So far, we have loaned laptops to several organizations within our community for their use. We are incredibly grateful for the grants that we have received, and we will continue to look for grant opportunities that make a positive impact on our community. So, what's next? We hope to continue partnerships within the community so that we can provide them with laptops to be used for various purposes. And we hope that we can also have laptops available on the bookmobile so that computers can reach people who can't make it into the physical library for whatever reason. In the physical library, we plan to have technology training for our staff as well as patrons. And right now, we have a tech time scheduled for the help desk so that people can come in and feel comfortable asking technology questions to our help desk. In the future, we hope to launch a program that allows us to lend hotspots to patrons at a very low cost. This is in the final stages of planning and will hopefully launch in the next coming months. In conclusion, the Newcastle Public Library is far more than a place to borrow books. It's a vital access point for technology, internet, and opportunity within our community. As we've seen, the digital divide in Lawrence County is very real and deeply felt by our neighbors. Whether it's students completing schoolwork, adults applying for jobs, or seniors staying connected with loved ones, the ability to access the internet and use a computer is no longer a luxury, but it's a necessity. Through our public computer access, commitment to privacy, and innovative use of grants, we've already made a measurable impact with over 10,000 logins annually and thousands of hours spent learning, connecting, and creating. We're not just stopping there. By expanding access through our bookmobile, loanable laptops, and soon to launch hotspot lending program, we're bringing digital equity to every corner of our county. So thank you so much for your time today. Together, we can continue to build a stronger, more connected, more equitable community, one computer, one connection, and one person at a time.